Hi, my name is Lena. Welcome to my channel, and this is my January 2020 wrap-up. I have been exceptionally good this month. I have read 11 books. They were mostly fiction, so those books I read for fun. They are one Shakespearean play, one nonfiction, one sci-fi novel, three fantasy novels, and 5 detective mystery novels. So I had a great deal of fun. About the Shakespearean play, it was Love's Labour's Lost. I had big expectations about this play because I really enjoyed the first scene of the first act. I think I finally can see the beauty of the language, and so I have these great expectations, and I was looking forward to reading this play. Unfortunately, as with most of comedies I read so far, wordplay didn't work for me, jokes weren't funny for me, and I didn't like the story at all. It left me completely cold. I think probably I should reread Hamlet and King Lear and Macbeth. Probably I will be able to enjoy those more this time around. About nonfiction. It was The Shadow of Vesuvius, A Life of Pliny by Daisy Dunn, and I enjoyed this book very much. I am unused to reading nonfiction for some reason. Sorry about that. So it was a very easy read. I could read it. It was entertaining. It was interesting. Probably I was interested in the topic itself, in the lives of Pliny the Younger and Pliny the Elder. I think he's trying to ruin my wallpapers. And now he needs to get out. Perfect timing, right? So let's try and continue. Well, it was extremely interesting. It was an easy read. Unfortunately, it didn't spend much time with Pliny the Younger contemporaries. So if you have never read anything about Pliny the Younger or Pliny the Elder, it might be not enough for you. I think mystery novels with Pliny the Younger as an investigator by Albert A. Bell Jr. do much better job introducing Pliny's friends and his enemies to us, and ruling emperors of the time, and the atmosphere of the time. But anyway, I really enjoyed this book, and I think it's of a great help to me right now when I'm reading Pliny the Younger's letters. About sci-fi, sorry guys, about sci-fi. It was by authors. Everybody who sees the surname, they all say that authors are Ukrainians. I haven't researched that. It's probably true, but I think they are writing in Russian. So, and I have never distinguished between Russians and Ukrainians. Sorry about that. So, this is a book called Migrant, and it has also a part of the title in Latin. I'm sorry, guys. It's called Migrant or Brevi, finietur. I'm sorry. So it's by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. You might know the book Vita Nostra, and you might enjoy it. I really like this book. It was a great book. But this book, it's the third in their series or in their trilogy called Metamorphoses. And I like this book the best. It's about a guy who wakes up and he's told that he migrated to a different planet. And he cannot remember why he made such a decision, why he did it, because he cannot remember the 2 last years of his life on Earth. And he remembers that he had a wife, ex-wife, and a small child, a son. And he also remembers that his wife remarried and took their child abroad. But he cannot understand what made him to migrate to a different planet. And on this planet, who looks like a paradise, paradise, he is going to be second-class citizen, what he feels to be second-class citizens. To become a real citizen, he needs to pass a test they call probe. So everybody tells him that he cannot do it because he is a grown-up man and he is a migrant. He cannot do it. He is not equipped for that mentally and physically. But he goes to this island anyway with a bunch of kids. And it reminded me a lot of Lord of the Fly. But when I was reading Lord of the Fly, my English wasn't very good. It was many, many years ago. I don't remember much. But I enjoyed this first part of the book so much that I was afraid to read the second part of the book. I was afraid that the authors would let me down. It didn't happen. It's one of my favorite books, and I will reread it. Unfortunately, it's not translated into English yet, but I hope they will translate it. They translated to Vita Nostra. I think they are translating the second book, which is digital, or Brevis Est, I think. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not big on editing. I absolutely cannot edit, so we are going to be cruel to my cat. I'm sorry about that. About 3 fantasy novels. Those are 3 novels from Witcher series. Those are 3 last book of the story arc with Ciri. I read them. They have some very memorable, very good characters. They are very unevenly crafted. I felt that the author, Andrzej Sapkowski, had a lot of fun writing these novels. They contain a tribute to Tolkien, to King Arthur's cycle, and probably many things I missed. They contain quite a lot of philosophy, which I don't enjoy in fantasy books. I am mostly for the adventure. I might reread it, but right now I just wanted to read the story to the end, to find out how it ends. Sorry, guys. So about mystery novels. I have started new mystery series. It's by Italian author Maurizio de Giovanni. And it's about Commissario Ricciardi and his cases. Commissario Ricciardi is, I think he's an empath. So he sees ghosts of dead people, but he cannot converse with them. He just can feel their emotions and can hear what they were telling, their last line before they were killed. and it helps him with his investigation. So you cannot solve this crime before Commissario Ricciardi, because of course you didn't feel those emotions. It's not a proper police procedural. So it's very atmospheric. I think it's set in Italy before World War II. It's very atmospheric. It's quite dark, but I enjoyed it very much. And the second book I read in Russian, it's the second book in the series. It's called Blood Curse, and it was translated into Russian. So, and I played with the idea to read the third book in Italian. Of course, I do not speak or read Italian. It was just an idea. Then I read one of Brother Cadfael's mysteries, an excellent mystery, and it's a medieval missing person case. So there is a young woman who is presumed to be killed by rogues and buried in the woods because of her money, her dowry that she was carrying. She wanted to become a nun, so the girl disappeared. Brother Cadfael and some other men investigate this case, and there is a big scandal behind it all. Such a big scandal that at some point they probably think that it's better, would have been better for the girl to be killed and buried in the woods by rogues. I really enjoy this series. I read them not to find out who done it before Brother Cadfael does, but for the atmosphere and for why somebody did it. I also read, those were ebooks, unfortunately, The Eyes of Aurora by Albert A. Bell Jr. It's the first case from notebooks, the Pliny the Younger, and I really enjoyed it. I cannot remember what it was about, but I really enjoyed it. Sorry about that. Oh, I think they were, at first they were looking for a woman who was supposed to running away from her husband and hiding from her husband. And then they were investigating very complicated and entangled crime. So it's basically a case about a psycho set in Imperial Rome. I really enjoy this series, but Pliny the Younger is too good to be true in this series. He is so politically correct and so open-minded to different religions and so on and so forth that he is too good to be true, in my opinion. And the detective novel I enjoyed the most is one written by John Maddox Roberts. It's a fourth book in his SPQR series, The Temple of the Muses. His protagonist, Decius Metellus, I think it's a very good portrait of a young man. He is Roman, so he is not particularly politically correct. He is Roman, everybody else are barbarians. But he strikes very unusual friendships. So you are barbarian until he knows you better. And of course, he is not very generous patron or master to his slaves. Mostly he's afraid of his slaves running away and probably murdering him in his sleep, as Romans did back then. Anyway, this story was set in Alexandria because Decius Metellus had to run for his life after solving his previous case in Rome. There is a bit of a template. He starts investigating a death of a person, of a not important person, and then stumbles onto conspiracy, and his life is in danger, and Romans is in danger. It's very enjoyable, nevertheless. Half of the books is world building and atmosphere building, so it's slow but it's interesting. And then it's just action from the 50% and to the end, it's action. And it does ends funny. I really enjoy this book. Well, that's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and happy reading.